there is a level of missing out for people who don't take advantage of education and higher education and going back to school.
Hello, friends, and welcome to another episode of Coffee and Tea. I'm your host, Tonia, and I'm excited because we're going to be talking to Miss Somone Washington and about the power of education. So, before I go too far down that conversation, I want to welcome Miss Somone to our show. Welcome, my friend.
Thank you for having me. I'm so excited to be here and I'm excited for the conversation.
Oh, thank you so much for accepting my invitation. It's a pleasure to be here. We had a great one-on-one. I always like to let my listeners know like how we connected. We connected on Alignable. She was in another. I don't know if it was a quick connect, but we connected on an event, and I loved her story. And of course, every time I think it's a fascinating story, I always like to have my guests come on. So again, thank you for accepting my invitation.
Sure.
And I'm going to turn the mic over to you, Miss Somone. Please tell a little bit about who you are and what you do, and maybe some great lessons you've learned since we reopened from the pandemic. So the floor is yours, my friend.
Okay.
Wow.
Well, thank you again for having me. My name is Somone Washington. I'm originally from Miami, Florida. I've been living in Southern California for the past 8 years. And I went to college, university in Miami. I went to Florida International University, and later I went to Barry University. And my study of choice is technology, management information systems, information technology. And actually, during the pandemic, I started a second master's in educational technology and media leadership. So that program is a happy marriage between my prior education and my career experience. So being a teacher and teaching technology all under that same umbrella. And so here I am. I am on a university campus here in Southern California. I work as an analyst. And basically, what that means is I manage a software system that the campus uses. And I offer excellent customer service to the end users.
Well, it's a pleasure. Like I said, powerful woman, and I'm honored to be here because we had a really great conversation. I think it was like a lot of you shared how your view of education has really been key to your success in your journey in what you do. And we'd always love to learn like the journey stories and our transition stories. So you know I'm a firm believer in education, but I want to say how has it really been an eye opener for you? Where did your love of education come from? I guess let's start
Yes.
there.
Yes. So my parents had me in school at the ripe old age of 2 years old, Beacon Hill Elementary School in Miami, Florida. And I remember them having us on desktop computers at the age of 2 years old on those IBM green screens. And so I remember it just being so exciting, just to play around on whatever software there was available at the time. And I think that exposure at such a young age is what sparked my interest in computers and technology. And my parents further nurtured that fondness of computers by purchasing my very own computer when I was 8 years old. And so just getting to explore it more, just having it around at home all the time and just seeing what it does and learning how to use it at a young age. And then, going through school and having computers always around and being in high school and having a track to where we were learning about technology in our elective classes. And I'm like most kids, I was a sponge and, I just really enjoyed using the computers and learning as much as I can about the latest technology that was coming out. And so I just furthered that interest by going to college and learning even more about it. And my career has been built around it. I've built a business around it. And so going through my own educational journey, I also realized that not everyone has the same educational opportunities. So I also think it's important to share the knowledge that we acquire and just acknowledging that there is privilege in accessing education and just to share our knowledge with others, especially those that don't have the same opportunities to gain that information and that knowledge.
Right. Yeah. Like you said, it's in this day and age where it seems like, the more I hear on the news and we talk about the things, like they want to like sort of watch sort of history, but if you are like, you can go with the system and learning, but that I think the thing is also it's like deep, deep. I can't say deep diving more into what you're passionate about.
Yeah,
Education can be a gateway to so many more things, right? So
yeah, yes.
how important have you found that, your education experience has opened doors that, like you said, it's a privilege,
Mhm.
but there are people who just take it for granted. So what would you say to those people like, well, once I get out of high school, I'm done. What would you say to those people who are like, you're maybe throwing away a key, a master
Yeah.
key to transformation? What would you say?
Well, my philosophy on education in general is that it's all about exposure, right? There's not really a way to learn everything about everything, but what our K-12 system and what the universities try to do is expose us to a lot of different things in an effort to spark interest in one or two or many things, right? And a lot of people feel like our educational system or the universities don't really teach us enough or go deeper into the subject matter in the way that they might want. But if the purpose is exposure, then they expose to a lot of things, a little bit of a lot. And then it's like, for me, I think like once you find the thing that sparks your interest, then you kind of on your own go deeper into it, right? So it's a relationship. It's like the schools expose, and then you decide which things you want to dive deeper in to learn more about, and then you kind of go off the beaten path, if you will, to learn more about the things that you want to learn about.
Right. Yeah. So I think, like you said, it opens Pandora's box, maybe that you
Hmm.
say, hey, what's more, So, what's the biggest thing that you have learned, or maybe you picked up in your educational experience that maybe could help somebody who's maybe reframing or maybe relooking at education? What
Yeah.
would your advice be?
Well, I consider myself a lifelong learner, and I do believe that life is its own teacher. And so I would just always encourage people to go to school and learn the subject matter that you might be interested in or learn more about something. I just never want to not have education or be in school. It's like there's something special about sitting in the classroom next to other people who are also learning something new and being able to ask questions of the subject matter expert who is your instructor, and just that process of evoking thought and critical thinking and just expanding your mind and your thought process, because there is a level of missing out for people who don't take advantage of education and higher education and going back to school. And I know that there is a price tag attached to it, but it is just a matter of being creative, right? So for the second master's, um, because I'm a staff member on a university campus, I didn't have to pay for it because there's a fee waiver program. So although the conversation around funding school is usually around scholarships and grants, I would also offer the option to become a staff member on a university campus that has a fee waiver program to help offset or completely cover the cost of school. And this is something that can be taken advantage of nationwide.
Right. And, you know, we had a really great conversation too. And I think you posed a question. It's like, and I think it was, I wouldn't say it was smarter, but you were asking like the difference between self-education and versus the college education. We didn't dive, and I don't think we had a difference of agreement, but
Yeah.
can we talk about that a little bit about, those who seek to learn on their own versus the education? Do you feel there's a disadvantage if you go on your own? From what you hear, because you're
Mm.
in the school system, do you
Yes.
feel like there's a disadvantage for those who self study? I guess that's what I'm looking for.
I wouldn't say disadvantage per se, because I mean, the structure of university is that you have a syllabus, you have a book or two that is associated with the course, and then you have someone who is guiding you through some rigorous activities to help make sure that you're grasping that information. And we do have a set of people in our community, in our country, that are self-starters, and they're able to do that on their own. Just show them the book that they need, and they can get to the same points without the structure of the university course. So I'm not sure I would say it's a disadvantage. I would just say it might be a different way of learning. And I know some people that are very successful doing it that way. So however you learn, whatever your budget says you should do, I think it's good, as long as you're always challenging yourself to learn something new, or giving yourself the gift of learning deeper about things that you're interested in.
Right. Well, thank you. Thank you. Like, I don't think it was really a disagreement or anything like that, but I think
Yeah.
you posed the question from, I guess it was another person's perspective. And so
Mhm.
I just wanted to bring that up in the discussion because, like I said, I didn't get into education really till after I was out and when I was on my own doing entrepreneurship. So, but like I said, I don't think you're ever too old to learn.
Absolutely, absolutely. And there's so many different forms of learning, and we just, thanks to technology, we have access to so much right now. It's just like you have to go live under a rock to not learn something almost every day, it's everywhere.
Right, you're right. And I want to take a moment real quick to remind you that Simone has been dropping some great nuggets. So if you've been picking them up, please follow up with, give us a like or follow up with a comment down below. And we're going to talk a little bit about how the doors open with the power of education. And
Mhm.
we're going to not dive too much into, your work thing, but women of color. I just say I'll put myself in it. It opens the doors for us that maybe we never ever really thought would be our doors. So,
Mhm.
and I think in technology, we talked about technology, and I shared my experience because I'm in the military. So there was a lot of, I'll say for me, I don't know about Miss Simone, but for me, there were some people who gatekept their information because I
Mhm.
didn't look like them. And
Mhm.
so, but the thing is, once you know your education, I would think we were had a conversation, cream always rises to the top. So
Yeah.
again, how has your education helped you continue to rise in what you do, dealing with the industry that you're in? Technology is it's a really rough kind of field to me. So, can you expand
Yeah.
upon that? What's your power?
Sure.
I guess educate your how you use education as your power.
Yeah, so part of the undergraduate study program is to do an internship. So I did an internship with the local public school district in their IT department. And so part of my job was to work with the veteran technicians to go around to different school locations and solve any networking or technical issues they were having with the network or any equipment. And so that was a white male dominated, it is a white male dominated industry. And so the department that I worked at was no different. And so whenever we had meetings or conferences or gatherings where all of the technicians in the district would get together, I might be one of two women in the room, and then the only Black woman in the room, and maybe a sprinkle of Black men in the room. And so, what I began to notice whenever we were in those settings is that the men were not really warm or happy that I was there. They were very guarded in their conversation. Like they would ask me a lot of questions, like very inquisitive about like who I was and how I got the role and like what was my background, like interrogating me, like what are you doing here kind of vibe. But they were very guarded in the information that they would give out. And so I just began to notice that they weren't really wanting to share their knowledge. Like for whatever the reason, well, we know the reason, but I started to feel like, oh, okay, so this is the environment. And mind you, I'm an undergraduate, I am 19, 20, 21 years old, very young. So not really as exposed to a lot of these nuances yet, but I picked up. And so I just realized that they were guarded in the knowledge that they wanted to share. Maybe they felt threatened, maybe job security, whatever have you. But that was fine. But what that taught me was that I wanted to be the opposite. I wanted to share knowledge, and I wanted to share my knowledge with my community and people of color and people who may not have had the same opportunity to go to school or university the way that I have, to make sure that they have the information that they want about technology. And I built a whole business around doing just that. And so I like to make sure that people just have basic computer and basic technology knowledge and information if that's something that they have wanted to learn more about.
Right. Yeah. I like what you're going, because like I said, it's always a transition story. Like, why do we do the things we do? And
Yes.
I think what I've realized is whatever pain we experience, we don't want others to experience it as well. And so
Yes.
I applaud you for sharing in what you're doing, Ms. Simone. It's a
Thank
pleasure.
you.
So thank you for sharing. And I really want to know, like, what's the one thing you want people to take away from this interview, you know, today?
The one thing I would like for people to take away is that it doesn't take anything away from you to share what you know. Like it is a special gift in conversation that we can give to someone else just to share knowledge that we've received about something that may be of interest to someone else. And it doesn't take away anything from you to do so.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's I'm hearing that if you feel like if you share my information, it's gonna diminish who I am, or you're gonna get a step up ahead of me and stuff like that. I couldn't really see where it was a big role in my life at one point, but I was like, maybe I don't know, maybe it's age for me. I just start to let that go. But where can people find more information about you, your services, and how to connect with you if they want to learn more about what you do and what you offer?
Well, I'm on all social media. I'm on LinkedIn as Somone Washington, Somone. I'm on IG at Kiasi Tech Solutions, KIASI Tech Solutions. And yeah, all social media.
Again, thank you so much. Your like I said, this is just a, hopefully she will accept my invitation to come back, because this is just like the icebreaker conversation, because I'd like to go deeper in some more great conversation if you'd be willing to come back.
Absolutely. I would love to do this again.
Well, thank you. And again, thank you for sharing your insight and your wisdom with us and accepting my invitation to be a guest.
It has been my pleasure to spend this time with you. Thank you so much.
Good. Thank you. Thank you so much. And I want to remind everybody who tuned in, yes, we appreciate you as well. Thank you again for tuning in. Remember, feedback is always welcome. Remember, the links that Somone mentioned will be posted down in the description box below. So please make sure you check it out down there. Again, if you've enjoyed what Somone has dropped and you picked some nugget up, please hit that like button. Maybe follow up with a comment below. And again, if you want to continue getting some more of the great insight, like what Ms. Somone shared, please hit that subscribe button over there. And remember, take things in stride, go with the flow, and create your own path. And we will see you back here on another episode of Coffee with Tea. All right. Bye-bye.